Join ForumIAS Academy, trusted by hundreds of toppers, including IAS Rank 1 Shruti Sharma.
Hi, my name is Krishnan. I'll be doing the Hindu news analysis for the day. These are the 5 articles that have been taken for discussion, and towards the end, we'll see previous year questions. Let us move on to the first question. So the first article is about payment crisis, and what is this payment crisis about? Because India is buying certain things from Russia, especially defense, and India is not able to pay. Now let us see why is it. So what is this article saying? India is having major defense deals with Russia. What is the major defense deal? S-400. What is S-400? S-400 is anti-tank, anti-missile. So what will S-400 do? If any missile is coming, S-400 will go and attack that missile. So it is anti-missile. So India is buying S-400 from Russia. And what has happened? Because of war with Ukraine, India is not able to pay the money. So India is not able to pay the money, so Russia is also not able to give the S-400. So what they are saying, currently payment of around $3 billion are held up because India is not able to pay. India has got the money, but it is not able to pay. Why it is not able to pay? Because Russia is under sanctions, and Russia-Ukraine war is also going on. So the money is held up in the central banks, and officials are working on how to pay it to Russia. So India should get 5 S-400 regiments, right? 3 have been given to India, but the other 2 are delayed, and when they are going to give to India, that they are not sure, because this payment deal is also so they are not able to pay in dollars. So automatically what they'll do, they are thinking they'll settle through rupee ruble arrangement. But what is the problem in rupee ruble arrangement is there is huge trade imbalance is coming, and rupees is accumulating on the Russian side. So the Russians are not very favorable of doing this. So when they are going to give the remaining things, it is there is no clarity on it. So one is S-400 we saw. Next what they are supposed to give, Krivak or Talwar class stealth frigates. So this is under construction for the Indian Navy in Russia. They are doing it in Russia, and this is also delayed, and this they are going to deliver in 2024 only, that too towards 2024 only. So the Russian side is accepting this. They are telling payment has been an issue, and these 2 stealth frigates, so it is under construction at GSL, and even this will be a problem because payment is not being done properly. So why is all this happening? Because Russia is being shut out of the global SWIFT system. So what is this global SWIFT system? So using this only, all central banks will be a member of this, and using this you can send and receive money. So Russia is out of it. You cannot, India cannot give money to India. India cannot give money to Russia through the SWIFT system. So what India and Russia did, they chose the rupee ruble route. So India will pay either in rupee or ruble. But what they are doing, small payments and all, they are doing in rupee and ruble. But larger payments, they are not able to do it properly. So that is the main problem. So some deliveries the Russians have done in spite of India not being able to pay. So they're telling like this, we'll find out other ways to give deliveries. Somehow India will get all the defense material like that, they're telling. So they are telling there are other problems also. What are other problems? Companies and traders are very scared of sanctions. So that is why we are not able to trade properly, and we are not able to expand the trade. So what traders are telling, RBI needs to step in and they have to help. So what officials are telling, we have to take multi-pronged approach to resolve this, and single measures like 1 or 2 measures will not be sufficient. So what Russian envoy in India is telling, Vostro accounts have been opened. So we have already discounted what Vostro accounts are. Vostro account is a bank account held by one bank on behalf of another bank. typically in a foreign currency. So that is only Vostra account. So you remember it. So they have opened Vostra account, and rupee ruble trade has been established, and they can start using it. Banks can start using it, but many Indian banks are cautious because they are scared of secondary sanctions from the US. So that is the problem. Next, what they are telling. In a related move in early August, Russia's largest banks, VTB, started opening accounts in rupee. So what this bank has done, VTB Bank, it has opened accounts in rupee, and the bank has expanded the list of currencies available to retail customers. So using this, they can open account and make exchange in rupee. So this is the rupee ruble arrangement that we are talking about. So finally, what they are telling, some people are telling India is using yuan, which is the Chinese currency, to make payments and do oil purchase. So what they are telling, one public sector company used yuan to buy oil from Russia, but they are telling we are not using it regularly. Only once we used yuan to buy oil from Russia. So they are telling we are not considering using yuan. So this is it. So to sum it up, India is buying defense deals, but Russia is not able to deliver them on time because there are sanctions on Russia. So this is what this article was about. Now let us move on to the next topic. This topic is about RBI's new scheme for frictionless credit. Now let us see how this functions. So what has the RBI done on August 17? RBI came up with something called as public tech platform for frictionless credit. So in this, what they'll do, they'll evaluate the feasibility and the functionality of people who are coming to buy money. So what they are telling, what the platform would do, it will enable the delivery of frictional credibility by facilitating seamless flow of required digital information to lenders. So people who are coming to borrow money, the data about them, so all this will be given digital information to lenders. So who are the lenders? Banks. So banks will get all the information about people who are coming to get money from banks. So what is this platform for? Digital delivery of credit. So what is digital delivery of credit? Delivering credit or loans through digital means. So before they give you a loan, what do they do? There is a process of scrutiny known as credit appraisal. So banks will see your CIBIL score and all those things, and see your credit history. Will you be able to pay it back and all those things? So what is the process attempts to do? Evaluate, and they predict the prospective borrower's ability for repayment of credit or loan and adhering to the credit agreement. So if they see your CIBIL score and all those things, they'll know if you'll be able to pay it or back or not. So this process is very important for bank, because it on this process only they'll be able to determine if they'll get interest income, and this will have an impact on their balance sheet also, because what if you do not pay? And interest income also, because you're repaying the loan, you're paying with interest. So their interest income and impact on balance sheet, both these are based on this information only. But what the central bank regulator, that is RBI, what it has observed is it needs data for this process, right? But the process is with a lot of people. They have to get this data from a lot of people, like central government, state government, account aggregators, banks, credit information companies, and digital identity authorities. So they are asking information from so many people. So what they felt is this is an obstacle. This is a friction. So they are telling this is creating hindrances in frictionless and timely delivery of rule-based lending. So finally, what they are telling, we are going to come up with a new platform which would bring all of it together in a single place. So what they are going to do to facilitate frictionless and timely delivery of loan? What they did initially, the central banking regulator, that is RBI, had instituted a pilot project for digitalization of Kisan credit card loans. So through that, they gave like 1.6 lakh loans less than 1.6 lakh they were able to give through digitalization of Kisan credit card. So in that, what they did, they tested end-to-end digitalization of the lending process in a paperless and hassle-free manner. So they are trying it with Kisan credit card, and it is going on pilot project, means they are just checking, they are just starting to run it. So it is going on in select districts in Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra. So what will it do? It will provide for doorstep disbursement of loans in assisted or self-service mode without any paperwork. So that is the most important thing. So what will this pilot do? So what they have done is they have learned from all the ongoing programs, and they are trying to expand the scope of types of digital loans. So who is going to develop this public platform? It will be developed by Reserve Bank's Innovation Hub. So this is owned by RBI only. It is called Reserve Bank Innovation Hub. So what will this platform have? It will be end-to-end platform. It will have an open architecture, open application programming interface and standards, and all financial sector players would be able to connect seamlessly in a plug and play model. So they're telling they'll get, if there is participation from certain banks, the platform would extend its focus towards dairy loans, MSME loans, that too without collateral, personal loans and home loans. So what else it will link? It will link services like Aadhaar, eKYC, e-signing, land records, and whatever services that you have to get through state government, satellite data, PAN validation, transliteration, account aggregation, milk pouring data from, even that they'll do. Like if you're giving milk from if you're giving milk to dairy cooperatives, house property data, everything it will have. So thus it will cover everything which is related to farming operations. If it covers all aspects of farming operations, then what will happen? Essential to understand the exposure and default risk for loans of the nature. So generally they'll know where we can lend, where we should not lend. If we lend in this area, we'll get money back. If we lend in this area, loss. Like that, the banks will get all the information, and alongside those necessary for ascertaining financial profile. So the farmers financial profile also they'll get. So whatever they are learning from this project, the scope and coverage would further be expanded to include more information providers and lenders. So through this pilot project, they are going to learn few things. So what purpose does this would serve? So what experts from World Bank are telling, improved access to information provide basis for fact-based and quick credit assessment. So the bank officials, they'll quickly do credit assessment. So for that, improved access to information is necessary. And next what they are telling, they will be able to give credit to a larger set of borrowers with good credit history. So those who are having good credit history, they have to give, and they have to cover a large people, no? So that they will also do. So next what they are telling, the borrowers also would be benefited because lower cost of accessing capital. So lower cost of accessing capital means 10 lakhs they have to pay, but in the meanwhile, to get the 10 lakhs, there are a lot of procedures, no? So that will also reduce. So if that reduces, what they'll do, that money they will do in productive investment. So why they are telling all this means, in India, to avail formal credit, what we are doing, we are doing multiple visits to the bank, and there are lot of cumbersome documentation. So because of this, higher operational cost means there are personnel involved and paperwork and all those things. That is operational cost. Operational cost for who? For banks also, there are a lot of paperwork they are doing, no? So they are also spending a lot of money on all these things. So if they save on these things, that money also they can distribute to borrowers, no? So what did RBI survey, it once showed that processing of farm loans used to take 2 to 4 weeks. So if a farmer goes and asks for loans, a bank will take 2 to 4 weeks, and about 6% of the loan's total value. If let's say that the loan's total value is 10,000, and 600 rupees is going in all this process itself. So finally they are telling, all in all, this lending platform would bring about reduction of cost, quicker disbursement and scalability. So these things it will do. So that is why this scheme is important, and RBI is going to bring it. Now let us move on to the next topic. You all know what is happening in Shimla. So in this article, we'll see why is this happening in Shimla. So you all know rains have recently wreaked havoc in Himachal Pradesh, particularly Shimla, and there was heavy rains in Summer Hill area of the state capital, and because of this there was flash floods and there was collapse of a temple, and because of this 15 people died, and there was a landslide in Krishnanagar area that left 2 dead, and there was landslide around Shimla, and this is damaged roads. So what experts are telling, this is not unprecedented, and we expected this because the intergovernmental panel on climate change, what it has told is coastal areas and Himalayas, they should be very careful because there is going to be rise in extreme climate events and shift in rainfall patterns. So obviously these two places will get hit. So what they are telling, development strategies for Himalayan region should prioritize climate resilience instead of solely pursuing unguided infrastructure expansion. But what has happened in Shimla, infrastructure development has not been climate smart. Why? Because you see what they have done in Summerhill, they have constructed a temple on within a gorge, and this place is the this was also the location of a water supply system for Totu, which is a suburban of Shimla. And in Krishnanagar, what has happened? Houses were erected on top of water bodies, that is natural water springs. So you all know when structures come up in areas closely linked to a water source, they become susceptible to disasters. So in this area particularly, there are 25 major springs and over 100 boweries. Why they are doing this? The shift in building strategies began after 1990s because then something called as reinforced cement concrete was invented. So because of this, the new Shimla region, which is known for paddy cultivation, that they have completely transformed using this. So what in this area there are numerous water bodies. So what they'll do using the reinforced cement concrete, water flow would be controlled and directed. That is, even if the water is coming in the human settlement areas, they will be diverted. So there are two significant development projects which were established on top of all these things. That is, one is the Himachal Pradesh High Court Lawyers Chambers, and the another one is the Indira Gandhi Medical College and Hospital. So what has happened? They have been constructed on waterways that remain perennial. So they are not even seasonal. They have constructed all these things on waterways that are perennial, and of course during the monsoon they become very rough. So what has happened? The heavy precipitation at Summerhill raises concerns about the fate of such substantial infrastructure funded by public resources. Then so what they are telling, matters related to land use should be addressed within a comprehensive development plan. So this is what they call cities master plan. But what happened in Shimla? It is still having something called as the interim development plan. So this they are having since 1979. And what is the problem with Shimla? It is not overseen by elected city government. That is not there. So it falls under the jurisdiction of a parastatal. So what is parastatal? Like the intermediary organizations and all, there are no like town planning, city planning. They are called parastatals. So this is also, they operate without any democratic oversight. That is, the members are not democratically elected, and they rely heavily on computer simulated plans, and they just go to a technological consultancy firm and they just ask for computer stimulated plans. So what has happened? The Shimla development plan is bending before the Supreme Court. So what is the criticism of the Shimla development plan? They are telling there is no climate action plan in it. It is not taking into account the climate action that should be taken. So in this Shimla development plan, they are simply telling we'll create urban spaces and we'll have core, open heritage and all those things, but they are not doing anything with regarding addressing climate related challenges. But what experts are telling, the Shimla development plan should have zonal, subzonal planning approach, because Shimla has got its own unique geographical features. So what they are telling, imperative means it is utmost important that zones and subzones are meticulously defined based on comprehensive geological data and thorough studies. So, and they should also come up with, using this geological data, they should come up with floor area ratio, which means how many floors can be built in a particular area. Those things and all, they should come with geological data, and they should also come up with zoning strategy. So with this, what they can tell, beyond this region you cannot have further settlements, like that they should tell. And Next, what they are telling, whatever approach you are taking, it should have a fine balance between urban development and preservation of the city's unique geological features. So they're telling, don't just they're not against urban development, but you take all these things into consideration so that you'll be able to preserve the city's unique geological features. So the experts are telling, first you should initiate comprehensive water contouring. This you can do through combination of satellite imagery and participation from the community. Then what should Shimla citizen should do? They should learn from the people of Satluj Valley. No means no. That means in this area, no infrastructure project means no infrastructure. So all this should be done with proper satellite imagery and geological data. Now let us move on to the next article. This article is about what are the challenges Chandrayaan-3 is facing. What happened on July 14, as you all know, the ISRO launched Chandrayaan-3 mission, and in a month the spacecraft built up its momentum around the Earth, and using slingshot it went to the moon, and it is currently preparing to descend, that is come down on the lunar surface. So you all know Chandrayaan-3 is a very complicated mission because you know what happened in the last time. So a lot has gone into increasing the chances of its success. So they have made, the ISRO scientists, they made sure the instruments are very strong and they are tested and all those things. So a journey through the space, even if it is very short, like the one from the Earth to Moon, is an adventure because you know, in the space there are harsh environment. So what is the first harsh thing? The solar wind. So the scorching hot surface of the star, you know, it emits a stream of energetic charged particles such as protons and electrons, which move very fast, and they are called solar winds. So they are all charged, and the Earth has a magnetic field. These particles are deflected and guided towards Earth's magnetic poles. So Earth is like this, they'll go to the magnetic poles. So when they cross over into the planet's upper atmosphere, the electrons and protons collide violently with atoms there, especially oxygen and nitrogen. And then what happens? Oxygen and nitrogen atoms will absorb an electron, and they'll acquire excess energy, which they will release as photons or light of some frequencies. So what will oxygen do? Oxygen is responsible for the shades of green and orange, whereas nitrogen contributes to the blues. These interactions will produce the radiant display known as the northern lights, or aurora borealis and things like that. So the with various hues and intensities. So why is this happening? Because Earth's magnetic field renders such beautiful skies, and it also protects the life and objects, because this magnetic field only will protects Earth from the solar wind. So Earth also has its own Van Allen radiation belts. So because of that also we are saved. And particles, that's way false. What is it? Unlike instruments on the ground, satellites, space stations and moon-bound spacecraft like Chandrayaan-3 have no natural protections. So which means they are very vulnerable. So what they'll have to do, they'll have to withstand the impact of these particles or they'll fail. So similar thing happened with Canada's Anik E2 satellite in 1982. So what will this, they are called displacement damage. So what will it do? One charged particle in the solar wind is so strong that it, even if it displaces an atom in the electronic chip, what will happen? The chips perform decays over time. So and you cannot change it. So even if there's a single event, the intended message encoded in the transmission will go off. So what happened in 2003 in Belgium? There was such signal corruption, and what happened? The voting machine flipped from 0 to 1, and what happened? One candidate received 4096 more votes in the poll. So those types of problems are also there. But what our scientists have done, with all possible outcomes in mind, they have used advanced engineering techniques. So what are these advanced engineering techniques? They to design and manufacture the corresponding electronics, and these are called radiation hardened electronics. So during this chip designing, what engineers did, I mean, during the entire process, that is design, manufacturing, packaging, experts meticulously consider radiation level and possible damage mechanism. And what they did, they incorporated multiple layers of protective measures in both software and hardware components. For instance, what they have done, 3 copies of the same signal can be transmitted. So that is called triple modular redundancy. So if there is any bit corruption, the other 2 bits can outward the corrupted bit. So this they have done. So they also need to be mindful of those. So instruments also they should protect. No. So what they did, they will be subject to a lot of vibrations. So the instruments have to be built and tested to make sure that they survive this experience. So all these things they have done. So next, what is going to happen? They have to survive enormous temperature fluctuations. So Chandrayaan-3, what it should do, it should go through -200 to +200 degrees Celsius. So because of this, what could happen? Wires could break, solders could fail, and chips could crack. So for this, what they have done, support materials on the solar panel made of copper that could also become active, like water at its boiling point and seep through the solar cell, rendering it inefficient. So when some materials are placed in vacuum, they release air molecules trapped in them. So all this can be a nuisance in temperature fluctuations. So what these outgassed air molecules will do, they'll deposit themselves on camera lens, and you cannot wipe the lens, right? So as a result, what will happen? You will have bad photos. So these outgassed molecules lodged between electrical contacts can even burn the contacts and electrical switches. So all these are very important. So sometimes there are problems that experts don't fully understand, but nonetheless they have to deal with it. For example, one explanation for why metal coatings from viscous electrically conductive protrusions is that they are expression of built up stress in the material. Some metals grow viscous when in a vacuum, and the viscous can short some circuit or other. So several satellites have failed completely as a result. In response, experts need to carefully select the metal coating and optimize the way it is applied. So this is an exercise of knowledge and research intensive. So the author is telling so far everything has been good because he's telling there are a lot of challenges like vacuum, extreme temperatures, radiation make for brutal workplace in which to perform one's job. So it becomes sophisticated and all those things. He's telling Chandrayaan-3 has survived so far. Even before it attempt to land on the moon, even before it is trying to land on the moon, it has done a lot of achievement. So he's telling ISRO, and the wider national community and all of them need appreciation. So even before landing into the moon, there are a lot of challenges for Chandrayaan-3, which ISRO has done well. Now let us move on to the next topic. This topic is about the Kachchatheevu Islands, which is near Rameshwaram of Tamil Nadu. So what is the story so far? On August 18, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Stalin revived the debate over Kachchatheevu. So what is this? This is an uninhabited and barren islet. So it is 285 acres, and this is 14 nautical miles of Rameshwaram. So what he said, he reiterated the demand for the retrieval of the island from Sri Lanka. So right now the island is with Sri Lanka. So he's telling India should get it back. So this will put a permanent end to the problems of fishermen of the state. So where he was telling this, he was addressing a fishermen's conference, and he pointed out that he's telling, because he wrote letters to the Prime Minister, fishermen arrested by Sri Lankan authorities were released, but boats and fish nets essential to the livelihoods of fishermen have not been returned yet. So last month, Sri Lankan president came to Delhi, and the chief minister is telling he urged the Prime Minister to raise the issue with the Sri Lankan president. So now let us see, when did this Kachchatheevu Island become a part of Sri Lanka? So during 1974, the then Prime Ministers of India and Sri Lanka, Indira Gandhi and Sirimavo Bandaranaike, they signed an agreement to demarcate the boundary between the two countries in the historic waters from Park Strait to Adams Bridge. So what they issued a joint statement regarding They told the boundary had been defined in conformity with historical evidence, legal, international principles and precedents. So they pointed out that the boundary falls 1 mile off the west coast of the uninhabited Kachchatheevu. So how important is Kachchatheevu? So fisherfolk of the two countries have been traditionally using the islet for fishing. So this was acknowledged in 1974 agreement, and they made it clear that fishermen of the two countries shall not engage in fishing in the historic waters, territorial sea and exclusive zone or exclusive economic zone of either of the countries without express permission of Sri Lanka and India. While certain sections of political parties and fisherfolk in Tamil Nadu believe that the retrieval of Kachchatheevu would resolve the problem of fishermen, because if they go to that island, from there the the exclusive economic zone will increase, right? So these people are telling if Kachchatheevu comes back to India, then Tamil fishermen don't have to illegally cross the international maritime boundary. But what fishermen of northern province in Sri Lanka are saying that this would only add to their suffering from the adverse impact of Tamil Nadu fishermen using the fishing method of bottom trawling on their territorial waters. So what northern province in Sri Lanka, what those fishermen are telling is the Tamil fishermen are using bottom trawling method. Because of this, fishing water resources are reducing. So what triggered the negotiations between India and Sri Lanka? Sri Lanka is telling Kachchatheevu belongs to them because the Portuguese who occupied Sri Lanka during 1505 to 1658 had jurisdiction over Kachchatheevu also. But what India is telling the erstwhile Raja of Ramanathapuram had a possession of it because they are telling it this was part of his Zamin. So even the Hindu article in 1968, which interviewed the erstwhile Raja Sethupathi, he's telling this was under the jurisdiction of his Zamin from time immemorial. However, in 1974 there was a debate on this matter in Lok Sabha, and the then External Affairs Minister Swaran Singh said they had taken the decision to give Kachchatheevu to Sri Lanka only after exhaustive research of historical and other records on the islet. So how was the pact received? So there was a debate in both houses of the parliament, and DMK, ADMK, Jansangh, Swatantra, Socialist Party, they all staged walkouts in the houses. And even former Prime Minister Vajpayee, who was the Junction's leader at the time, he told the transfer of the islet had been taken behind the back of people and the parliament. And the then Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Karunanidhi, in 1973, he told Indira Gandhi that popular feeling was in favor of retaining Kachchatheevu, which belonged to India and not to Tamil Nadu alone. But the M.G. Ramachandran, that is, he was the founder of AIDMK, he criticized Karunanidhi for his failure to guide the center properly. So why did the issue emerge again? This was revived in 1991 again. So the then Chief Minister Jayalalitha is telling get back the islet at least through a lease. So in the last 15 years, both Jayalalitha and Karunanidhi had approached the Supreme Court on this matter. So what has the centre said? In August 2013, the Union government told the Supreme Court that the question of retrieval of Kachchatheevu from Sri Lanka did not arise as no territory belonging to India was ceded to Sri Lanka. So this is what the central government is telling. So it is telling that the islet was a matter of dispute between British India and Ceylon, and there was no agreed boundary, and this only was settled through the 1974-76 agreements. So even the centre position pointed its reply in Rajya Sabha that Kachchatheevu lies on the Sri Lankan side of the India-Sri Lanka international maritime boundary line. And it said that we are not going to talk anything about it because the matter was sub judice in the Supreme Court. Let us now go on to previous year questions. In this, let us see the first question. If rainforests and tropical forests are the lungs of the earth, then surely wetlands functions as its kidneys. Which one of the following functions of wetlands best reflect the above statement? So the answer is D. Aquatic plants absorb heavy metals and excess nutrients. Climate Action Tracker. What is it? It is database created by coalition of research organizations. BioRock technology is talked about in which one of the following situations? Restoration of damaged coral reefs. The Miyawaki method is well known for creation of mini forests in urban areas. So that's all for today. I hope you liked it. You can share it among your friends. You can also comment below. You can subscribe the channel. You can also follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Telegram and Facebook. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you again.